All right, number 5, you're given something, and this is really kind of related to the last problem with the geometric, and it tells me it's equal to this thing over here, and then it says find the relationship between n and k, given that a is not 0 and a is not equal to plus or minus 1. So I'm going to go back to the whiteboard, and I'm going to write down what they said, and then we'll go through it one step at a time. So it's 1 plus a. And again, if you retain what we learned in the last problem, we could probably write this down pretty quickly. So a squared plus, but if you can't, you just do it again, right? And it got an, it goes up to this. And then this is equal to, 1 plus a, 1 plus a squared. I'm just copying what they said, by the way. 1 plus a4. Then they said, oh, you got the pattern now, yada, 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 up to 1 plus a to the 2 times, not 2 times, but 2 to the kth power. That's even hard to write down, isn't it? So we just did the geometric thing, so I think I can write that down pretty quickly. And I'll write down like this over here. I'm going to write, one of two ways you could write down. Maybe I should go through that again. And if I wrote this down, it said S equals 1 plus a plus, a squared up to an, multiply both sides by a. What would you get? A plus a squared plus a cubed plus yada, 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 up to a n plus 1. If you subtracted them, and there's two ways you could subtract them. You could do 1 minus a, s. And then what would you get? You get 1 minus a to the n plus 1. All right? And what would s equal? It's not that bad. It's going to be, you could write s down as 1 minus a to the n plus 1 over 1 minus a. Or if you prefer, you could multiply top by minus 1, and you would get a n plus 1 minus 1 a minus 1. All right? And the question is, which one are you going to use? I don't think it really matters at this point. Let's just try to do one. Let's write down a n plus 1 minus 1 over a minus 1 is now equal to 1 plus a, 1 plus a squared, 1 plus a4, and then you get yada, 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 1 plus a to the 2k. All right, that doesn't look too bad. What I want to do is get rid of the fraction now. And if I do that, what would I get? A n plus 1 minus 1 would equal a minus 1 times 1 plus a, 1 plus a squared, 1 plus a4, yada, 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 1 plus a to the 2k. I'm kind of looking at that, and I do think I see something. But that, the order of it looked kind of funny. So I got to do something though, don't I? Well, you know what? I could basically say, this second term is really a plus 1, right? So I'm going to write that down. A n plus 1 minus 1. And I could take those first two factors and multiply them together. And again, a minus 1, well, that's a minus 1, and this is going to be a plus 1. And that turns out to be pretty simple, right? What does it turn out to be? A squared minus 1. And then I get this over here, 1 plus a squared, 1 plus a4, yada, 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 up to 1 plus a to the 2k. I'm still looking at it, wondering what to do. Well, you know what? I see the pattern again. All right, remember, 1 plus a squared, same thing as a squared plus 1. So I'm seeing this thing. It's almost like collapsing at this point. And what do you get there? You would get a 4 minus 1 times 1 plus a4, yada, 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 up to 1 plus a to the 2k. So I'm starting to see these pairwise matchings at this point. I'm going to say, I think I could follow along here if I kept going to notice that a n plus 1 if I kept multiplying these things over here, I'd eventually get to something, right? What would I eventually get to? I'd eventually get to this over here. I'm sorry, a to the 2k. Eventually get there, by the way. Minus 1 times 1 plus a to the 2k. I'd eventually get there. Like if I kept going here, I'm eventually going to get here. I'm going to rewrite it. And you might even forget what the question is at this point, but this is going to be a to the 2k minus 1 times a to the 2k plus 1. And that's easy to multiply out, by the way. That's going to be a to the 4k minus 1. So what do we got? Let's write this down. A to the n plus 1 is the same thing as a to the 4k. I got to go back and read the question, by the way. And I can't remember the question, to be honest with you. The question over here was find the relationship between n and k. And I think I got it. And I am going to say that n plus 1... Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. And the mistake is in my penmanship. And let me point that out to you. Let me get this erased over here. And it's really problematic because I went back and looked at actually read the question. It's not 2k, it's 2 to the k. All right, let me just make sure you know what I said about that. That this is not 2k. Let me erase them over here too. This is just bad penmanship. All right, so it's 2k. Put that over here. It's 2 to the k. 2 to the k. Even hard to write down, isn't it? 2 to the k. Well, I still got the same thing. And let me get my eraser out again. A smaller eraser. And I still get there. They're powers of 2, by the way. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go back. Bad penmanship. But again, I looked at it because I read the question again, saw it. And you're going to get a to the n plus 1 minus 1. And this is going to be, again, I'm not going to keep them around. It's going to be a. What do you get there? It's going to be, let's see. Let me write this down. So it's going to be a to the 2k times a to the 2k. So what would you get there? You get a. By the way, I know there's a 1 there too. I know that. So it's going to be 2 to the k plus 2 to the k. Well, let me see if I can figure that out. That would be 2 times 2 to the k for the a, right? So really it's going to be 2 to the k plus 1. All right. The ones disappear. What are you left off with? You left off with a to the n plus 1 would equal to a. I'm adding 1 to both sides, by the way, to the 2 to the k plus 1. And what does that mean? N plus 1 is equal to 2 to the k plus 1. And that's a relationship between n and k, by the way. That's what they asked for. That's what we've given them. Let me make sure that's what they asked for. Find a relationship between n and k. We did. This is the relationship between it. You can rewrite those. I don't think it's really going to help much, by the way, to rewrite it. But that's a relationship between n and k. Thank you.